Okay, taking a look at what's been happening in Alberta independence recently, the last few days, I would say, pretty eventful. We'll take a look at this clip, weave some other stuff in, then I'm going to finish on a clip featuring Keith Wilson. Let's take a look. We will also get a bit of the Jeff Rath, Corey Morgan beef, maybe you could call it.
Will you commit that you will not be the one to call a separation vote?
Well, I can tell you we're waiting on a few things.
Alberta's premier not ruling out using her power to launch a vote on the province leaving Canada.
We'll have to decide that as a caucus and cabinet afterwards, but I think we have to just wait for the process to play out.
Separatist leaders now saying the premier should just call it to avoid any delays. Jeff Rath and Mitch Sylvester urging their followers to buy UCP memberships to force Danielle Smith.
We'll cut in here because there's been definitely some drama online regarding Jeff Rath and Corey Morgan. I just saw this when I was going to do this video. I was going to show the article, but take a look at this. So I'm just Googling here, Western Standard, Jeff Rath, Morgan. The Alberta independence movement has a Jeffrey Rath problem. However, when you click on this, I mean, let me know if, I'm sure this is the same for everybody. 404, oops, page not found, unless my computer is faulty, because I think also when I go to X, it seems like some of the commentary about the Corey Morgan, Jeff Rath feud, beef, whatever you want to call it, it seems as though some of the posts have been deleted. It's a bit confusing, but I mean, that's probably good if Corey Morgan and Jeff Rath can just kind of maybe just beef in private. I don't know, whatever. I actually like internet beef. I find it funny. I find it entertaining. I don't even know if it's all negative for a movement. It might drive eyeballs, but I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. If I had to guess, it's probably not great at the moment for Alberta independence people to be beefing with one another. It's just politics is kind of a funny thing sometimes. Sometimes you just want the eyeballs. We'll continue.
To get independence on the ballot this fall. We asked some of Smith's cabinet ministers what they think.
I've ran against separatist candidates in the 2 elections I've partook in. So no, I don't think that she should do that, but I'll let her to comment.
The United Conservative Party is not a separatist party, so we should be pushing for a strong Alberta within United Canada.
It's time to go!
Separatist leaders delivering what they say are 300,000 signatures just a week ago. It's still unclear if and when Elections Alberta can count those signatures for an independence vote. First Nations are challenging that process in court, and a judge has granted an injunction. The lawyer for
a lot of First Nations, though, a lot of Indigenous people in a recent poll support Alberta independence.
There it is. The narrative blew apart. For months, we've been told Alberta independence is fringe, that Indigenous people oppose it, full stop. That claim is doing a lot of work right now, especially in court. But then this lands. Nearly half of Indigenous voters polled support independence. Someone tell the activist chiefs, please.
Exactly. Those chiefs that get on television are so cringe. I've said that before. Wow, those guys. Holy.
that petition casting doubt on the process.
We're at the point now where there should be real concerns about the degree to which the courts are trying to put their thumb on the scale with regard to Alberta independence.
Well, there's no way we can have a referendum right now and feel confident either in its results or in the petition that led to it in the first place.
The NDP raising the apparent leak of the voting data of nearly 3 million Albertans as a reason to stop the vote. But Smith would not commit to delaying the fall referendum, saying June is a likely deadline to add more questions to the ballot.
She has done everything she could in the last year to make this separatism referendum a reality. She has changed laws, overturned court decisions. She's looked the other way. Her staff has looked the other way during an unprecedented data breach of personal information of voters by the separatists who are her supporters.
I find it so sketchy when a politician says unprecedented. That word has gotten way too much play in recent years.
Her friends.
This political scientist also believes the premier will
This guy's another beauty over here.
find a way to make a separation vote happen in October. Dwayne Bratt believes Smith's job as UCP leader and premier may depend on it.
Watching her actions, I still don't know really at the end of the day which side she is on this. But what she is concerned about, absolutely, is the unity of her party. It's about the UCP. It's keeping the separatists in the camp.
That camp within the UCP likely now growing. Jeff Rath says he wants to force a special general meeting on separation to be held in August. Sean Amato, City News, Edmonton.
Okay, and then we'll finish the video on this clip here. Keith Wilson, Brian Lilly. Keith Wilson, I think, makes the most consistent, strong arguments for Alberta independence. I like a lot of the leaders, though, in the movement, but we'll take a look here.
Culturally, we're different. Look at, I was fascinated, Brian, and you'll have known about this, and I only discovered it over the weekend. I was saying to myself, why are we doing this gun buyback thing? Like, it's not going to make the streets any safer.
No,
nobody's suggesting that.
Look, I'm praising Wab Canoe over this, and I am far from a new Democrat, but he is saying this is not going to work.
So I know the major drivers coming out of Quebec. So I did some research, and you've probably written on this. So again, you're way ahead of me. But is that what I found was that 86% of Quebecers fully support this restriction on stylistic firearms. And I'm like, wow. And you know, what I learned, maybe some of the drivers they have had a number of, you know, mass casualty incidents and that are well known, and those are horrific, and I wish they would have never happened.
I can name them all off.
Yeah, but it shows this cultural disconnect. Part of our culture in Alberta is partly a gun culture. People in Quebec, you know, in its first founding years in the 1500s, 1600s, 1700s, 1800s, came from France. On Alberta formed materially in the late 1800s into the early 1900s. The majority of the first immigrants to Alberta were from the United States. 20%. We came up with the cattle drive from Texas. That's why they call Alberta Texas North. We have a completely different culture. We want less government in our lives. We want to take risk. We know that living involves risk. We want to be rewarded for our hard work and our risk. We don't expect government to look after us. This is another reason why Albertans want to go. The old Canada they used to know and love, with all due respect, just doesn't exist anymore. There was a time where we had
facts.
Honor the right honorable minister, the right honorable. That's their title. And it's reflective of the constitutional conventional principle under the Westminster system of ministerial responsibility, which is if you've engaged in an activity or your ministry's made a bad decision, or you or your ministry has made an unlawful decision, honor of the crown requires that you step down, that you resign. We are no longer living in a free and democratic country that Canada once was. Alberta seeks to recreate that through independence. We're confident we can do it, and we're well on track.
Yeah, bars there, as you might say, from Keith Wilson. That was great. I'll finish the video there. Yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Have a great day.